4 attack dogs circled her, 70 pounds of rage each. The handlers behind the fence were already placing bets on how long she'd last. Colonel Lawson smiled. This is what happens when women think they can do a man's job. The first dog lunged. Maya didn't move. She whispered one word, a command only elite K9 trainers knew. The dog stopped midair, confused, then sat. The second dog charged, same word, same result. Lawson's smile died, because the woman he'd just tried to humiliate. She wasn't just a lieutenant. She was the Navy SEAL who'd written the training manual his entire program was supposed to follow, and she was about to expose every rule he'd broken. Before we continue, if you're hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button and stay with me until the very end. Comment below what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let's dive in. You don't belong here. Maya didn't look up from the file in her hands. She'd heard it before, at Coronado, at Bragg, at every base where men decided her rank meant nothing because her voice was wrong. Read the orders, Colonel. She flipped the folder closed. I'm here for 72 hours. Site inspection. Protocol compliance. Standard procedure. Colonel Drake Lawson leaned back in his chair, the leather creaking under 200 pounds of authority and barely concealed contempt. His office smelled like old coffee and older grudges. Standard procedure. He repeated her words like they tasted bitter. You're 22 years old. You've been in the Navy for 3 years, and they send you to evaluate my program. 4 years. Maya set the file on his desk. And I didn't ask to be here. Then why are you... She met his eyes, didn't blink. Because someone filed a complaint. The temperature in the room dropped. Lawson's jaw tightened. My handlers are loyal. They wouldn't... The complaint was anonymous. Maya stood. Which means whoever filed it was afraid of you, of this place, of what happens when people ask questions. You don't know anything about this facility. I know you've lost 6 dogs in 18 months. She watched his face carefully. That's triple the national average. I know your performance metrics are perfect, which is statistically impossible unless someone's manipulating data. And I know... She paused. Your top handler requested a transfer 5 times. Every request was denied. Lawson stood slowly. 6'3", barrel-chested, built like a man who'd spent 30 years proving he was the biggest threat in any room. You think you can walk in here and accuse me of... I'm not accusing you of anything. Maya's voice was calm, surgical. Yet, I'm here to observe, document, report. If everything's clean, I'll be gone in 3 days and you'll never hear from me again. His smile was thin, dangerous. 3 days. He nodded. And if you find nothing, then someone wasted everyone's time. And if you find something, Maya picked up her bag, then your program gets shut down and everyone involved faces court-martial. Sir? She turned toward the door. Lieutenant? She stopped. There's a reason we don't let women into combat K9 units. His voice was soft now, paternal. The kind of tone men use when they're about to say something they've said 100 times before. These aren't pets, they're weapons. 50 pounds of controlled aggression, one wrong move, one moment of hesitation, and they'll tear through muscle like paper. Maya looked back over her shoulder. I'm aware. Are you? He walked around the desk. Because I've seen handlers' men freeze up when a dog turns. I've seen grown soldiers piss themselves when a Malinois locks onto their arm. This isn't theory. This is blood and bone, and knowing that the animal you're staring at could kill you before you hit the ground. Then you should be grateful someone's making sure they're trained properly. His smile vanished. Tomorrow morning, 0500, training yard. You want to inspect my program? Fine. But you're going to do it the right way. You're going to see exactly what these dogs can do, what they're designed to do. And then, he stepped closer. We'll see if you still think you belong here. Maya held his gaze for 3 long seconds. Then she nodded once and walked out, Mom, the barracks. 2200 hours. The knock on Maya's door was soft, hesitant. She opened it to find a woman in fatigues, mid-30s with dark circles under her eyes, and the kind of tension that lived in your shoulders when you'd been holding secrets too long. Lieutenant Cross. The woman glanced down the hallway. I'm Sergeant Nina Alvarez. I'm one of the handlers. Maya stepped aside. Come in. Nina slipped inside quickly, closing the door behind her. She didn't sit, didn't relax. I have 10 minutes before bed check. Her words came fast, rehearsed. I need you to know that whatever Lawson told you, whatever he shows you tomorrow, it's not the whole story. Okay, Maya kept her voice neutral. Tell me the story. Nina pulled a folded piece of paper from her pocket. This is Rex, 3 years old, Belgian Malinois, military working dog, certified in detection, patrol, and apprehension. She handed Maya the paper. It was a medical report, dated 6 months ago. Fractured rib, lacerations across the shoulder, bite marks on the hind leg. Maya looked up. Who did this? Another dog. Nina's voice was flat. During training, Lawson calls it pack discipline, says it builds aggression, makes them harder, better. That's not protocol. I know. Nina's hands were shaking. But when I filed a report, Lawson said I didn't understand the program, said I was too soft, too emotional, said if I couldn't handle it, maybe I should request a transfer. Did you? 5 times. Nina laughed bitterly. He denied everyone, said he needed experienced handlers, said I was too valuable to lose. But really, her voice cracked. He just didn't want me talking to anyone outside the unit. Maya folded the paper carefully. Is Rex the only one? Nina's silence was the answer. How many? All of them. Nina wiped her eyes quickly. Every dog in this facility has scars, broken bones, psychological trauma, and the ones that don't perform, the ones that show fear or hesitation. She swallowed hard. They disappear. Disappear where? I don't know. Lawson says they're reassigned, but I've checked the records. There's no transfer paperwork, no documentation. They're gone. Maya felt something cold settle in her chest. Why didn't you go to the IG? I tried. Nina's voice was a whisper now. I sent an email to the Inspector General's office 8 months ago. Nothing happened. 2 weeks later, my security clearance was flagged for review. My personal files were audited. Someone searched my locker, and Lawson called me into his office and said, she closed her eyes. He said accidents happen, especially to handlers who don't follow chain of command. The room was silent, except for the hum of the air conditioning. You sent the anonymous complaint. It wasn't a question. Nina nodded. I used a civilian account, sent it from a library computer. I didn't think anyone would actually come. But when I saw you... She met Maya's eyes. I had to warn you, because whatever he's planning for tomorrow, it's not a test. It's a message, to me, to everyone here, that no one challenges him and walks away. Maya thought for a long moment. Where's Rex now? Kennel 7, East Wing. But you can't... I'm not going to confront Lawson. Maya's voice was steady. Not yet. But I need to see the dogs myself. Tonight. Before he has a chance to prepare them. Nina's eyes widened. If he catches you, he won't. Lieutenant, you don't understand. These dogs, they've been conditioned for aggression, especially at night. If you go in there alone, I won't be alone. Maya pulled on her jacket. You're coming with me. Kennel 7, 23:30 hours. The kennels were dark except for the dim emergency lights running along the concrete floor. Maya could hear the dogs before she saw them. Low growls, the scrape of claws on metal, the restless pacing of animals that never fully slept. Nina unlocked the door with shaking hands. Stay behind me, Maya whispered. The smell hit first. Urine. Blood. Disinfectant trying to cover something worse. Then the sounds changed. The growls became snarls. Bodies slammed against cage doors. Jesus. Nina's flashlight swept across the rows of kennels. They're worse than usual. Maya moved slowly down the center aisle. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness, and what she saw made her stomach turn. Every kennel was too small. Every dog was pressed against the back wall or lunging at the cage. Their eyes were wild, not trained, traumatized. Which one is Rex? Nina pointed to the last kennel on the right. Maya approached carefully. The dog inside was massive, nearly 70 pounds of muscle and fury. His coat was matted. His eyes reflected the flashlight like glass. "Hey, Rex." Maya's voice was soft. "I'm not going to hurt you." The dog lunged at the cage door with a sound that wasn't a bark. It was a scream. Nina grabbed Maya's arm. "We need to go. Now. If anyone sees us." "Look at his collar." Nina aimed the flashlight. The collar was embedded with metal prongs. Every time Rex moved, the prongs dug deeper into his neck. "That's a prong collar." Maya's voice was ice. "They're banned in military K-9 programs. Have been for 8 years. Lawson says they're necessary for aggressive dogs." "Lawson is a liar." Maya pulled out her phone, started taking pictures. "These dogs aren't aggressive. They're in pain. Constant, unrelenting pain. And when you condition an animal to associate human contact with pain, they attack." Nina finished. Maya took photos of every kennel, every collar, every visible injury. Then she stopped. "What's that room?" At the far end of the kennel block was a metal door with a keypad lock. Nina's face went pale. "Medical storage. But it's been locked for months. Lawson says there's an inventory issue. No one's allowed inside." Maya walked to the door, tried the handle. Locked. She studied the keypad. "What's the standard override code for this facility?" 9274, but it won't work. Lawson changed it to something custom. Maya typed 0500. The lock clicked. Nina stared. "How did you?" 0500. It's tomorrow's meeting time. Narcissists always use dates that make them feel important. Maya pulled the door open. The room inside was small, lined with shelves, and filled with things that shouldn't exist in a military kennel. Shock collars, cattle prods, chains with barbed links, and in the back corner, a refrigerator. Maya opened it. Vials. Dozens of them. Labeled with abbreviations she recognized. Testosterone supplements. Her voice was hollow. Synthetic adrenaline. Chemical aggression enhancers. Nina covered her mouth. "Oh God. He's not training them." Maya turned. "He's weaponizing them. Turning them into something that can't be controlled. Something that has to attack or die trying." "Why would he?" "Because fear works." Maya's hands were steady as she photographed everything. Fear keeps handlers quiet. Fear keeps questions from being asked. And fear makes sure that when something goes wrong, when a dog attacks someone, everyone blames the animal. Not the system. Not the man running it. She closed the refrigerator. "Tomorrow morning, when Lawson puts me in that training yard, he's expecting me to fail, to panic, to prove that I don't belong here." Maya met Nina's eyes. "What he doesn't know is that I designed the protocol he's supposed to be following. I wrote the manual on K-9 behavioral psychology for the Navy, and I know exactly what these dogs are capable of when someone actually treats them like living beings instead of weapons." "What are you going to do?" Maya's smile was thin, sharp. "I'm going to show him what real training looks like." 0500, Training Yard. The morning was cold, gray, the kind of dawn that felt like a warning. Maya stood outside the chain-link fence surrounding the training yard. Inside, the space was empty. Concrete, 50 feet by 50 feet, no cover, no escape routes. Colonel Lawson stood beside her, flanked by 6 handlers, all men, all watching. "Last chance to back out, Lieutenant." Lawson's voice was casual, friendly even, the tone of a man who'd already won. "No shame in admitting this isn't your field." Maya didn't answer. "The test is simple." He gestured to the yard. 4 dogs, standard aggression protocols. Your job is to enter the space, establish control, and exit without injury, to yourself or the animals. "What are the dogs' names?" Lawson blinked. Excuse me? Their names, rank, training history. I need their behavioral profiles. That's not part of the test. Then it's not a fair evaluation. Maya turned to face him. You're asking me to interact with animals I've never met with no context, no baseline, no relationship. That's not protocol. That's a setup. Lawson's smile tightened. Are you refusing the test? I'm asking for information that any competent handler would require before entering an active training scenario. The handlers shifted uncomfortably. One of them, a young private with nervous eyes, spoke up. Sir, she's right. Regulations state that... Private Martinez. Lawson's voice was a blade. Did I ask for your input? No, sir. Then shut your mouth. Martinez went red, looked at the ground. Maya filed that away. Another crack in the foundation. Here's what's going to happen. Lawson stepped closer. You're going to enter that yard. The dogs will be released, and you're going to show everyone here that you actually know what you're doing. Or, he paused, you're going to fail, publicly, completely. And then you're going to write in your report that this facility is operating at peak efficiency, that my program is flawless, and that no further investigation is required. And if I refuse, then I'll have you removed from this base for insubordination, and the person who filed that anonymous complaint. His voice dropped. They'll lose more than their career. Maya felt Nina's presence somewhere in the crowd, watching, terrified. Understood, Colonel. She walked to the gate. Behind her, Lawson nodded to one of the handlers. Release them. The kennel doors opened. 4 dogs entered the yard. Rex was the first. Maya stepped through the gate. It slammed shut behind her, and 50 pairs of eyes watched to see if she'd survive the next 5 minutes. The first 3 seconds were critical. Maya knew that. Every handler knew that. The moment a dog locked eyes with you, their brain made a decision: threat or non-threat, predator, or prey attack, or wait. Rex's muscles coiled. His lips pulled back. Maya dropped to her knees. What the hell is she doing? Someone muttered from outside the fence. She lowered her head, broke eye contact, made herself small. The second dog, a German shepherd with scars across its muzzle, charged from the left. Maya didn't move, didn't flinch. She regulated her breathing. 4 counts in, 6 counts out. The pattern that trainers used to signal calm to animals whose entire world was chaos. The shepherd stopped 5 feet away, confused. She's insane, another handler whispered. Rex took 2 steps forward, then stopped. His ears flicked forward, not aggression, curiosity. Maya extended her hand, palm down, fingers relaxed, no tension, no threat. I know you're scared, she said quietly. Just to Rex. Just to him. I know what they did. I know it hurts. But I'm not them. Rex's growl softened, became something else, something that sounded almost like a whimper. Behind the fence, Lawson's jaw tightened. The third dog, a Belgian Malinois smaller than Rex, but faster, circled to Maya's right. Testing. Looking for weakness. Maya shifted her weight slightly, keeping her hand extended toward Rex, but tracking the Malinois with her peripheral vision. Easy, she breathed. Easy. The fourth dog, a massive Rottweiler mix with a mangled ear, sat down. Just sat. Like it had been waiting for permission to stop being a weapon. And then Rex moved. He walked forward. Slow. Deliberate. His eyes never left Maya's hand. The handlers outside the fence held their breath. Rex's nose touched her palm. Maya didn't grab. Didn't pet. She let him investigate. Let him decide. 5 seconds passed. Then Rex lowered his head and pressed it against her shoulder. Jesus Christ, someone whispered. The shepherd approached next, then the Malinois, then the Rottweiler. All 4 dogs surrounded Maya, not attacking, not threatening, just close. Like they'd been starving for something that wasn't pain. Maya stood slowly. The dogs moved with her. Rex stayed at her left side, his body relaxed for the first time in months. She walked to the gate. Lawson didn't move to open it. Impressive, Lieutenant. His voice was tight, controlled. But that's not what I asked you to do. You asked me to establish control. I did. I asked you to demonstrate command protocols, aggression response, tactical deployment. He stepped closer to the fence. What you just did was circus tricks. What I just did, Maya said clearly, was prove that these dogs don't have behavioral problems. They have trauma, and trauma doesn't get fixed with pain. It gets fixed with trust. Trust? Lawson laughed. You think trust wins wars. You think trust neutralizes enemy combatants. These animals are tools, Lieutenant, and tools need to be sharp. These animals are partners, and partners need to be respected. The silence that followed was electric. Then Lawson nodded to the handlers. Get her out. The gate opened. Maya walked through the 4 dogs following like shadows. The handlers stared. One of them, Private Martinez, looked like he might cry. Kennel them, Lawson ordered. Sir, Martinez hesitated. They're not responding to standard commands. They're only following her. Then she can kennel them herself. Maya looked at Rex. Kennel. Rex hesitated. His eyes flicked to Maya, then to the handler approaching with a shock collar. No collar, Maya said. Excuse me. Lawson's voice was dangerous now. He doesn't need it. None of them do. They'll follow commands without pain conditioning. I just proved it. You proved nothing except that you don't understand how military canine programs function. I understand perfectly. Maya's voice cut through the cold morning air. I understand that you're using prohibited training methods, chemical enhancements, physical abuse, and I understand that every regulation you've broken carries a court-martial. The handlers went silent. Lawson's face darkened. You're out of line. I'm doing my job. Your job is to observe, not to make accusations. My job, Maya said, is to ensure this facility meets Navy standards. It doesn't, not even close. Lawson stepped forward, inches from the fence. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried across the entire yard. You walk in here with your credentials and your theories and your self-righteous bullshit, and you think you know better than men who've spent decades in this field. You think because you read a manual and passed a test that you understand what it takes to keep soldiers alive in combat zones. You don't know a goddamn thing. Maya met his eyes. I know you're scared. That stopped him. You're scared, she continued, because everything you've built here is a lie, and lies collapse when someone shines a light on them. So you created a system based on fear. Keep the handlers terrified, keep the dogs traumatized, keep everyone so focused on survival that no one asks questions. But someone did ask questions. Someone filed a complaint, and now I'm here, and you can't scare me into leaving. Lawson's smile was thin, cruel. You're right. I can't scare you. But I can make your life very, very difficult, starting with this. He pulled out his phone, made a call. General Hadley's office, please. Yes, I'll hold. Maya's stomach dropped. Hadley was her commanding officer, 2 ranks above her, and a personal friend of Lawson's. Sir. Lawson spoke into the phone. It's Colonel Lawson at Fort Marshall. I have a situation with one of your officers, Lieutenant Maya Cross. Yes, sir. She arrived yesterday for a site inspection and has been... He paused, listened. Hostile and insubordinate. She's making baseless accusations, disrupting training protocols. I'm requesting her immediate removal and a formal reprimand for... Another pause. Longer this time. His face changed. I see. Yes, sir. Understood. He ended the call, looked at Maya with something close to hatred. Apparently, he said slowly, General Hadley has full confidence in your assessment. He says you have 72 hours to complete your investigation. Unrestricted access to all facilities' personnel and records. And he's authorized you to place any handler or animal on medical hold if you determine they're at risk. Maya kept her expression neutral. Thank you, Colonel. Don't thank me. Lawson pocketed his phone. You just made a powerful enemy, and enemies have a way of finding leverage, always. He turned and walked away. The handlers followed, all except Martinez, who lingered near the gate. "Lieutenant," his voice was barely audible. "Can I talk to you privately?" Maya found Martinez behind the equipment shed 10 minutes later. He was smoking hands, shaking so badly he could barely hold the cigarette. "I'm sorry," he said immediately. "I shouldn't have said anything during the test. Lawson's not going to do anything to you." Maya leaned against the shed wall. "Not anymore. General Hadley's backing this investigation. That means Lawson can't retaliate without exposing himself." Martinez laughed bitterly. "You don't know him. He doesn't need official channels. He just needs a reason. And you gave him one." "What do you mean?" "Last year there was a handler. Corporal James Reed. Good guy. Experienced. He started asking questions about the medical records. Why so many dogs were getting injured. Why the mortality rate was so high. Lawson said Reed was paranoid, unstable. 2 weeks later, Reed was found unconscious in his barracks. Head injury. They said he fell, but Martinez took a long drag. Reed was 6'2", 200 pounds, former boxer. He didn't just fall. Maya felt ice in her veins. "Where's Reed now? Medical discharge, brain damage. Can't remember most of that week? Convenient, right? You think Lawson? I don't think anything." Martinez dropped the cigarette, crushed it under his boot. "I keep my head down, I do my job, and I try not to think about what happens to people who don't." "Then why are you talking to me?" He looked at her, really looked. "Because I'm tired. I'm tired of watching dogs die. I'm tired of watching handlers break. And I'm tired of knowing that I'm part of it. So if you're really here to shut this place down, if you're actually going to do something..." He swallowed hard. "Then you need to know about the files." "What files?" "Lawson keeps 2 sets of records. Official ones that go to command, and real ones that stay locked in his office. Medical reports, financial transactions, correspondence with..." He stopped, looked around. "You didn't hear this from me. I didn't hear anything from you." 3rd floor, his private office. The safe is behind the unit photo. Combination is his service number. But you can't go during the day. He's always there. You'd have to... "Tonight," Maya said. "After midnight. When's the security rotation?" Martinez stared at her. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." "Lieutenant, if he catches you breaking into his office..." "He won't catch me." "You don't know that." "I've done this before." Maya's voice was matter-of-fact. "Helmand Province, 2022. Corrupt supply officer was selling equipment to insurgents. I broke into his quarters, copied his hard drive, and had him arrested before sunrise. This is just paperwork." Martinez shook his head slowly. "You're either the bravest person I've ever met or the stupidest. Maybe both." Maya pushed off the wall. "I need you to do something for me. Find Sergeant Alvarez. Tell her to gather every handler who wants to talk. Everyone who's seen something, documented something. Everyone who's been too scared to speak up. Tell them they have immunity. Tell them this is their chance. And if Lawson finds out, he won't. Because by the time he realizes what's happening, it'll be too late." Maya spent the afternoon in the medical wing. The official medical wing, not the horror show behind Kennel 7. She requested every treatment record, every injury report, every death certificate for the past 2 years. The facility medic, a tired-looking Navy corpsman named Davies, brought her 3 boxes of files. "This is everything?" Maya asked. "Everything that's logged in the system." Davies set the boxes on the exam table. "But if you're looking for patterns, you won't find them here." "Why not?" "Because Lawson writes the reports himself. Dogs that die from training accidents. Handlers who get injured due to improper technique. Everything's documented in a way that makes it look random, unavoidable." Davies pulled off his glasses, rubbed his eyes. "I've been a medic for 12 years. I've worked on 3 continents. And I've never seen this many casualties in a training program. Never." "How many deaths?" "Officially 6. But that's just the ones I saw personally. There could be more. Lawson doesn't always bring the bodies through medical. Sometimes they just disappear. Where? I don't know. Crematorium maybe. Or burial detail. He has authorization for both. Maya opened the first box. Started reading. The reports were meticulously detailed. Every injury cataloged. Every death investigated. Every conclusion the same operator error, animal unpredictability. Unfortunate but unavoidable. Except the patterns were there. Hidden in the data like landmines. Every dog that died had been flagged for aggressive behavior. Every handler who got seriously injured had filed at least one complaint. Every incident happened during high-stress training scenarios, with no witnesses except Lawson himself. He's cleaning house, Maya said quietly. Getting rid of anyone who might talk. Anything that might expose him. That's what I thought too. Davies sat down. But I can't prove it. And even if I could, who would I tell Lawson has friends in every chain of command? Generals, senators. He's been in this game longer than most of us have been alive. He knows how to survive. Everyone has a weakness. Yeah. Davies laughed without humor. What's his? Maya closed the file. Arrogance. He thinks he's untouchable. That's when people make mistakes. The door opened. Nina stepped inside, looking pale. We have a problem, she said. The kennel block was chaos. Dogs barking. Handlers shouting. And in the center of it all, Rex backed into a corner, Hackle's raised blood dripping from his shoulder. What happened? Maya pushed through the crowd. He attacked Miller. Nina pointed to a handler sitting against the wall, clutching his arm. Came out of nowhere, just lunged. Maya looked at Rex. His eyes were wild, terrified. Where's Miller's bite stick? What? His training equipment. Where is it? Nina looked confused. I don't... Maya walked to Miller. Show me your arm. I'm fine. Show me. Miller hesitated, then slowly pulled back his sleeve. Burns. Fresh. Circular. The exact pattern of a shock collar. You shocked him. Maya's voice was flat. He wasn't responding to commands. So you used unauthorized force. Lawson said, I don't care what Lawson said. Maya turned to Rex. Everyone back up. Give him space. The handlers retreated. Rex pressed harder against the wall. Maya knelt down, 15 feet away, far enough not to threaten, close enough to be present. Hey, buddy, she said softly. I know it hurts. But you're safe now. I promise. You're safe. Rex's growl faltered. No one's going to hurt you again. Not while I'm here. Not while I'm watching. She extended her hand. Come here. Please. 10 seconds passed. 20. Then Rex took a step forward. That's it, Maya breathed. That's my boy. Another step. And another. Rex's nose touched her hand. She felt him shaking. I got you, she whispered. I got you. Behind her, someone started clapping. Slow. Deliberate. Mocking. Colonel Lawson stood in the doorway. Beautiful, he said. Truly moving. But here's the problem, Lieutenant. That dog just attacked one of my handlers. Military regulation states that any MWD demonstrating unprovoked aggression toward personnel must be euthanized immediately. No exceptions. Maya stood slowly. Rex pressed against her leg. It wasn't unprovoked. Miller shocked him. Miller was following protocol. Miller was torturing him. A handler has the right to use reasonable force to maintain control. There's nothing reasonable about shock collars on animals that are already traumatized. Lawson smiled. Regardless, the law is clear. That dog is a liability, and liabilities get eliminated. You're not touching him. I don't need your permission. Yes, you do. Maya's voice was steel. General Hadley authorized me to place any animal on medical hold if I determine they're at risk. Rex is now under my direct care. Any attempt to remove or harm him will be considered obstruction of a federal investigation. Lawson's smile vanished. You're overstepping. I'm doing my job. Your job is to observe, not to interfere with operational decisions. My job, Maya said, is to protect military assets from negligent commanders who treat living beings like expendable equipment. The temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. Lawson stepped closer. You're making a mistake. No, you made the mistake, years ago, when you decided that results mattered more than lives, when you built a system based on fear instead of respect, when you convinced yourself that abuse was training and torture was discipline. Maya didn't blink. And now it's over. Nothing's over until I say it's over. Actually, a new voice said from behind Lawson, I think the lieutenant's right. Everyone turned. A man stepped into the kennel mid-40s wearing civilian clothes with the kind of quiet authority that didn't need rank insignia. Who the hell are you? Lawson demanded. The man pulled out credentials. Dr. Ethan Ward, veterinary pathologist. I was contracted by the Navy 6 months ago to investigate anomalies in K9 mortality rates across Eastern District facilities. Your program flagged my attention, so I've been monitoring, documenting, collecting evidence. He looked at Maya. And I believe you and I have a lot to discuss, Lieutenant. Maya felt something shift in the room, a crack in the wall, a door opening. You have no authority here, Lawson said. Actually, I have congressional authority, signed by the Senate Armed Services Committee, which means I outrank everyone in this room. Ward smiled. Including you, Colonel. So why don't we all take a walk to your office? I have some questions about your procurement records. Specifically, he pulled out a tablet. Why you've been ordering pharmaceutical supplies that aren't approved for military use, and where those supplies have been going for the past 18 months. Lawson's face went white. Unless? Ward continued. You'd like to explain to a federal investigator why you've been purchasing black market testosterone and synthetic adrenaline, in quantities that would be illegal even for human use, let alone for animals. The silence was absolute. Then Lawson turned and walked out without a word. Ward watched him go, then looked at Maya. We need to talk. Privately. Now. Ward's hotel room was small but secure. He swept it for listening devices before speaking. 6 months ago, he said, a veterinary assistant in North Carolina contacted me about irregularities in post-mortem reports. Dogs dying with elevated hormone levels, tissue damage consistent with chemical injection, behavioral changes that didn't match training records. He pulled up files on his laptop. I started investigating, quietly, and every trail led back here, to this facility, to Colonel Lawson. Maya sat forward. What did you find? Evidence of systematic abuse, chemical enhancement programs, off-book financial transactions, and... He hesitated. Bodies. Lots of bodies. More than the official count. How many more? 18. That I can confirm. Maybe more. Maya felt sick. Where are they? Cremated, buried in unmarked locations. Lawson has a contract with a private disposal company. No questions asked. No records kept. Ward closed his laptop. But here's the thing. I couldn't prove it was intentional. Every death could be explained as training accidents. Bad luck. Statistical anomalies. Until tonight. What happened tonight? You happened. Ward leaned back. You demonstrated that these dogs don't have aggression problems. They have trauma, which means every injury, every death, every incident, all of it traces back to methodology, to training protocols, to command decisions. And that makes Lawson criminally liable, not just for negligence, for animal cruelty, for fraud, for obstruction, for everything. Maya processed this. You've been waiting for someone to challenge him. I've been waiting for someone who could prove the alternative, that proper training works, that these animals don't need to be broken to be effective. You did that in 5 minutes, in front of witnesses, on his own training ground. Ward smiled slightly. That's checkmate, Lieutenant. He just doesn't know it yet. So what's next? Next, we move fast. Lawson's cornered now, and cornered men do dangerous things. We need to secure evidence, protect witnesses, and get those dogs out of here before he decides to eliminate them all. Tonight, Maya said. We do it tonight. I'm breaking into his office, getting the real records, and then we're shutting this place down permanently. Ward nodded slowly. You're willing to risk your career on this? I'm willing to risk everything. Then you're either crazy or noble, maybe both. He stood, extended his hand. Let's go save some lives. Maya shook it. Neither of them saw the figure watching from across the parking lot, or the phone call being made in the darkness, or the wheels already turning to ensure that neither of them made it to morning. The call came at 21:47 hours. Maya's phone buzzed once. A text from Nina. 3 words. He knows. Run. Maya showed Ward. His face went pale. How? He whispered. Doesn't matter. Maya was already moving, grabbing her jacket, checking the window. If he knows we're planning something, he'll move the evidence. We have to go now. Now it's not even 10 o'clock. The facility's still active. Security's compromised. If Lawson knows, that means someone told him. Someone close. Maya pulled the curtain aside. The parking lot looked empty. Too empty. We don't have time to wait for midnight. We go now or we lose everything. Ward swallowed hard. What about backup? We could call... Who? Local police? They have no jurisdiction on a military base. MPs, half of them, probably report to Lawson. The IG's office... Maya's laugh was bitter. That worked great for Nina, didn't it? Then what's the plan? The plan is, we get into that office, we get the files, and we get out before someone stops us permanently. And if we get caught... Maya met his eyes. Then we better make sure what we find is worth it. They left through the back exit, stayed in the shadows. Ward's rental car was parked 3 blocks away, deliberate distance in case someone was watching. I don't like this, Ward muttered as they walked. This feels wrong, like we're being herded. We probably are. Maya kept her voice low. But Lawson's counting on us being scared. On us second-guessing. He wants us to hesitate. Maybe we should? You saw those dogs. You read those reports. How many more die if we walk away? Ward didn't answer. They reached the car. Ward fumbled with the keys. His hands were shaking. Let me drive, Maya said. I'm fine. You're terrified. That's fine. But I need you functional. She held out her hand. Keys. He handed them over. They drove back to the base in silence. The guard at the gate checked Maya's ID, waved them through without questions. Too easy. Maya's instincts screamed warning, but she kept driving. The administration building was dark except for security lights. 3rd floor, Lawson's office. Stay in the car, Maya said. Engine running. If I'm not back in 20 minutes, I'm not leaving you. Ward, I'm not leaving you. His voice was firm now, steady. I've been investigating this for 6 months, watching from the sidelines, collecting data while animals died. I'm done being a coward. Maya studied him, nodded. Then stay close and stay quiet. They entered through the south entrance. The door was unlocked. Another red flag. The stairwell was empty. Their footsteps echoed too loud. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs, but her hands were steady. Training overrode fear. Always had. 3rd floor. The hallway stretched ahead like a tunnel. Lawson's office was at the far end. They were halfway there when Maya heard it. A door opening behind them. Don't move! They froze. Maya turned slowly. Martinez stood in the doorway, weapon drawn. His face was pale, haunted. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry. Martinez. Maya kept her voice calm. Put the gun down. I can't. Yes, you can. You don't want to do this. He has my daughter. The words came out broken, raw. He showed me pictures. Her school, her route home. He said if I didn't call him, if I didn't warn him. Martinez's hand shook violently. She's 8 years old. I can't. Listen to me. Maya took a step forward. Lawson's lying. He's trying to scare you. But he can't hurt your daughter, not legally, not without exposing himself. You don't know what he's capable of. Yes, I do. I've seen it. The dogs, the handlers, Reed, all of it. Maya held his gaze. But it stops tonight. Right now. You can help us stop it. Or you can let him keep destroying lives, including yours, including your daughter's, because eventually he'll use her as leverage again, and again, until there's nothing left of either of you. Martinez's weapon wavered. She needs her father, Maya said quietly. She needs you whole, not broken, not buried under guilt. And the only way that happens is if you make the right choice, right now. 10 seconds of silence. Then Martinez lowered the gun. He's in his office, waiting. He said, his voice cracked. He said he was going to make an example out of you, so no one else would ever challenge him again. How many others are with him? I don't know. He told me to call when you arrived and then stay out of the way. That's all I know. I swear. Maya believed him. Get out of here. Take your daughter and go. Tonight. Don't tell anyone where. Just disappear for a few days. When this is over, I'll make sure you're protected. What if it's not over? What if he won't win? I promise you. Maya touched his shoulder. But you need to leave. Now. Martinez nodded, holstered his weapon, ran. Ward exhaled shakily. Well, that was... The lights went out. Complete darkness. Emergency exit signs glowed red at both ends of the hallway. He cut the power, Maya whispered. He wants us scared, disoriented. It's working. Stay behind me. They moved forward. Maya's eyes adjusted slowly. Shapes emerged from the darkness. Doors. Wall fixtures. The outline of Lawson's office ahead. The door was open. Maya stopped. Listened. Heard nothing. Which meant either the room was empty or someone was waiting very quietly. She stepped inside. The office was dark except for moonlight through the windows. Lawson's desk, his filing cabinets, the unit photo on the wall hiding the safe. No Lawson. He's not here, Ward whispered. Yes, he is. Maya didn't move. He's watching, waiting to see what we do. Then what? A hand clamped over Ward's mouth. An arm locked around his throat. He struggled, but the grip was iron. Colonel Lawson emerged from the shadow behind the door. He had Ward in a chokehold, casual and precise. Hello, Lieutenant. His voice was conversational, almost friendly. I was wondering how long it would take you to figure out the door was unlocked. Let him go. Why? So he can help you commit breaking and entering, theft of classified materials, destruction of government property. Lawson tightened his grip. Ward's face was turning red. I don't think so. You're assaulting a federal investigator. I'm restraining an intruder. Lawson smiled. Big difference. Especially when there are no witnesses. I'm a witness. You're a co-conspirator. Your testimony means nothing. Maya's mind raced. Ward was losing oxygen. She could see it in his eyes, the panic, the fading consciousness. What do you want? She asked. I want you to understand something. Lawson's voice hardened. I've built this program over 15 years. 15 years of proving that my methods work, that results matter more than feelings, that soldiers need weapons, not pets. And you... He looked at her with pure hatred. You walk in here with your ideals and your regulations and your self-righteous moral superiority, and you think you can tear it all down in 72 hours. You think you're a hero. I think you're a monster. I'm a realist. I do what needs to be done. I make hard choices that soft people like you can't stomach. And I keep soldiers alive in war zones because my dogs are the best in the world, the most aggressive, the most effective, the most feared, the most traumatized. Trauma creates strength. Trauma creates broken animals that attack their handlers. Only when the handlers are weak. Lawson's grip shifted. Ward's eyes were closing. Like your friend here. Weak, soft. Probably cried himself to sleep reading his pathology reports. Men like him don't survive in my world. Let him go and we'll talk, just you and me. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. Maya forced her voice to stay calm. Because you made a mistake. A big one. You threatened Martinez's daughter. That's conspiracy. Extortion. If he testifies, he won't testify. He's too scared. They're all too scared. Nina testified. She's the one who filed the complaint. Something flashed across Lawson's face. Surprise. Then rage. Alvarez. The name was poison. I should have known. She never could keep her mouth shut. She documented everything. Every injury. Every death. Every time you covered something up. It's all on record. Sealed with the IG's office. You can't make it disappear. I don't need to make it disappear. Lawson's voice was cold now. Empty. I just need to make you disappear. Both of you. Training accident. You broke into my office. Confronted me. Things got physical. I defended myself. Tragic. Unavoidable. He shifted his weight. Ward went limp. Maya moved. Fast. 3 steps. Low center of gravity. She drove her shoulder into Lawson's ribs with everything she had. The impact broke his grip. Ward dropped. Gasped. Crawled away. Lawson recovered instantly. He was older but trained. Decades of combat experience. He grabbed Maya's arm, twisted, drove his knee toward her stomach. She deflected, pivoted, used his momentum against him. They crashed into the desk, papers scattered, a lamp shattered. You think you can fight me? Lawson's voice was breathless, excited. You think your training matches mine? Maya didn't answer. Talking wasted oxygen. She blocked his next strike, countered with an elbow to his jaw. Connected. His head snapped back, but he didn't go down. He smiled, blood on his teeth. Good, he said. This will be more interesting than I thought. He lunged again, faster this time. Maya barely dodged. His fist grazed her cheek. Pain exploded. She tasted copper. They grappled. Lawson was stronger, heavier, but Maya was younger, faster. She used his weight against him, let him overextend, drove him toward the window. Stop, Ward's voice, hoarse but loud. Stop, or I'm calling the MPs. Go ahead, Lawson grunted. He had Maya pinned against the wall now, his forearm across her throat. They'll arrest her, not me. They'll arrest both of you. Ward's hand was shaking as he held up his phone. Because I've been recording, every word, every threat, everything. Lawson froze. Let her go, Ward said. Or this video goes to General Hadley, to the IG, to the press, to everyone. And your career is over. Your reputation, everything. 5 seconds of silence. Then Lawson released Maya, stepped back, adjusted his uniform. You're making a mistake, he said calmly. You have no idea who you're dealing with, the connections I have, the people who owe me favors. You think one recording changes anything? I think it's enough to open an investigation. Ward lowered the phone. A real one, with federal oversight, congressional hearings, media coverage, and then... He smiled slightly. We'll see how many of your friends still take your calls. Lawson's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes did. Fear. Real fear. Maybe for the first time in years. Get out of my office. Not without the files, Maya said. Her throat burned, her cheek throbbed, but her voice was steady. The real ones, behind the photo, combination 8243790. That's classified. That's evidence. And you're going to open that safe, right now, or Ward sends that recording to every news outlet in the country. Lawson stared at her. 10 seconds. 20. Then he walked to the wall, moved the unit photo, opened the safe. Inside were folders, dozens of them, medical records, financial statements, correspondence, and photographs. Maya pulled them out, started looking through them. Her stomach turned. Dogs with open wounds, broken bones, chemical burns. Handlers with injuries documented as training accidents, but clearly showing assault patterns, and receipts. Thousands of dollars in pharmaceutical purchases, equipment, disposal services. Jesus Christ, Ward whispered. He was looking over her shoulder. This is criminal conspiracy, fraud, animal cruelty. How did you think you'd get away with this? Because I always have. Lawson's voice was flat, defeated. For 15 years, no one questioned me. No one challenged me. No one cared. As long as my dogs performed, as long as my numbers stayed perfect, command looked the other way. They didn't want to know how I did it. They just wanted results. And now? Maya asked. Now? Lawson laughed bitterly. Now I'm the villain, the monster, the cautionary tale. But in 6 months, someone else will run this program, and they'll face the same pressure, the same impossible standards, and they'll make the same choices I did, because the system doesn't care about methods. It cares about metrics. Then we change the system. You can't change the system. The system doesn't want to change. Watch me. Maya gathered the files. Ward, you have enough, more than enough. Then we're done here. She looked at Lawson. You're under citizen's arrest for assault conspiracy and obstruction of a federal investigation. You'll remain here until MPs arrive. If you try to leave, if you destroy any evidence, if you contact anyone. She held up her own phone. I have my own recording, and mine includes you assaulting Dr. Ward. Self-defense won't save you. Lawson sat down heavily in his chair. Suddenly, he looked old, tired. You won't survive this, he said quietly. Even if you expose me, even if you shut down this program, they'll find a way to bury you, to discredit you, to make sure no one else gets ideas about challenging authority. Maybe. Maya headed for the door. But at least those dogs will still be alive. They left him sitting in the darkness. The parking lot was chaos. 15 minutes after they'd left Lawson's office, 6 MP vehicles arrived. Emergency lights painted the buildings red and blue. Nina was there, Martinez, Davies the medic, and others. Handlers Maya hadn't met, all of them holding files, documents, evidence. They came, Nina said, tears streaming down her face. After you confronted Lawson, after word spread that someone finally stood up to him, they all came. Everyone who'd been hiding, everyone who'd been scared. They brought everything. A captain stepped forward, military police, professional, cold-eyed. Lieutenant Cross, I'm Captain Reynolds. We have orders to secure this facility and detain Colonel Lawson pending investigation. He looked at the stack of files in her arms. I'll need those. Maya hesitated. It's okay, Ward said. Give them to him. We have copies, digital backups, everything's preserved. Maya handed over the files. Reynolds flipped through them. His expression darkened. Jesus, he muttered. How long has this been going on? Years, Nina said. At least 5 that I know of, probably longer. And no one reported it. We tried. Martinez's voice was hoarse. We all tried. But Lawson had protection. Friends in command, people who didn't want scandal. So they buried the complaints, intimidated the witnesses, made sure nothing stuck. Reynolds looked at Maya. And you broke through in 3 days. I had help. Maya gestured to the crowd. Everyone here risked everything to speak up. They're the heroes, not me. Heroes don't usually break into superior officers' offices. I had authorization from General Hadley, site inspection, unrestricted access. Does unrestricted access include assault? Self-defense, Ward interjected. I have video. Colonel Lawson attacked first. Lieutenant Cross defended herself and me. It's all documented. Reynolds studied them both, then nodded slowly. I'll need statements from everyone. This is going to be a long night. He turned to his team. Secure the building. No one in or out without my authorization. And someone find Colonel Lawson. I want him in custody within the hour. The MPs moved out. Maya sat down on the curb. Exhaustion hit her like a freight train. Her hands were shaking now. Adrenaline crash. Ward sat next to her. "You okay?" "No." Maya laughed weakly. "I'm not okay. I just assaulted a superior officer. My career is probably over. And we still don't know if any of this will stick, if command will actually prosecute, if anything will actually change." "It will," Ward said. "Because this time, there are too many witnesses, too much evidence, too much light shining on something that thrived in darkness." Lawson's finished. And more importantly, he gestured to the kennel building. "Those dogs are safe now. That matters." "Yeah." Maya wiped her eyes. "Yeah, it does." Nina approached. "Lieutenant Rex is awake. He's asking for you." "Dogs don't ask for people." "This one does." Nina smiled. "Come see." Maya followed her to Kennel 7. Inside, Rex was sitting calmly in his enclosure. No prong collar, no chains, just waiting. When he saw Maya, his tail moved. Just once. A small wag. "Hey, buddy," Maya said softly. She opened the cage. Rex walked out, pressed his head against her leg. "We did it. You're safe now. All of you." Rex looked up at her with those dark eyes. And for the first time since she'd arrived, Maya saw something in them that wasn't fear. It was trust. Behind her, Ward's phone rang. He answered, listened. His face went pale. "What?" Maya asked. That was General Hadley. Ward's voice was shaking. "He just received a call from Senator Morrison, head of the Armed Services Committee. Apparently—" He swallowed hard. "Colonel Lawson has friends in very high places, and they're not happy about this investigation. They're threatening to block it, bury it, classify everything under national security." Maya felt ice in her veins. "They can't do that." "They can. They will. Unless—" Ward looked at her. "Unless we go public. Now. Tonight. Before they have time to contain it. If we release everything to the press, if we make this too big to bury, they'll have no choice but to let the investigation proceed. That's career suicide. Probably. We'll be labeled whistleblowers, traitors. We'll never work in government again." "I know." Maya looked at Rex, at Nina, at Martinez, at all the handlers who'd found the courage to speak up. Then she looked at Ward. "Do it," she said. "Release everything." Ward nodded, pulled out his laptop, started typing. Within an hour, the story hit major news networks. Within 2 hours, it was trending on social media. Within 3 hours, congressional offices were flooded with calls demanding action. And by morning, Colonel Drake Lawson was arrested on 17 federal charges. But Maya didn't know that yet. All she knew was that she'd made a choice. A choice that would cost her everything she'd worked for. And she'd make it again. Every single time. The summons came 3 days later. Not from the IG's office. Not from General Hadley. From the Pentagon. Maya sat across from 2 men in suits who didn't introduce themselves. They didn't need to. Their badges said, Department of Defense Inspector General. Their faces said she was in serious trouble. "Lieutenant Cross." The older one spoke first. Gray hair, dead eyes. "You understand why you're here. To answer questions about my investigation. Your unauthorized investigation. I had authorization from General Hadley. To conduct a site inspection. Not to break into a superior officer's private office. Not to assault him. Not to leak classified information to the media." He slid a folder across the table. "That's a list of federal violations you've committed in the past 72 hours. It's extensive." Maya didn't open the folder. "Colonel Lawson assaulted Dr. Ward. I defended him. Everything I did was legal under legal." The younger one laughed. "You destroyed a decorated officer's career based on allegations that haven't been proven. You created a media circus that's embarrassed the Navy. And you violated operational security protocols that exist for a reason. The protocols exist to protect soldiers, not to cover up abuse. You don't get to decide what's abuse and what's necessary training." "Actually, I do. That's literally my job. I'm a K-9 behavioral specialist. I wrote the training manual that Lawson violated repeatedly. The older man leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to recant your statements. You're going to publicly apologize to Colonel Lawson. You're going to admit that you overstepped, that you misinterpreted what you saw, and that this entire situation was a tragic misunderstanding caused by your inexperience and... He paused. Your emotional instability. Maya felt cold rage building in her chest. Emotional instability. You're 22 years old. You've been under significant stress. It's understandable that you might have... Don't. Her voice was ice. Don't you dare try to gaslight me. I know what I saw. I have documentation, video evidence, witness testimony from 15 handlers, medical records from 18 dead dogs, financial records showing illegal pharmaceutical purchases. You can't make that disappear. We can make you disappear. The younger one's voice was casual, conversational. Discharge you. Dishonorably. Strip your benefits. Make sure you never work in any government capacity again. Make sure no one ever takes you seriously. That's option 1. What's option 2? You cooperate, recant, apologize, and in exchange, we arrange a quiet transfer. New assignment, fresh start. You keep your career, your reputation, and your future. All you have to do is admit you made a mistake. Maya looked at both of them. And the dogs? Silence. What happens to them? What happens to the handlers who spoke up? What happens to Nina Alvarez, who documented abuse for a year? What happens to Martinez, whose daughter was threatened? What happens to all the people who trusted me to protect them? That's not your concern. It's absolutely my concern. Lieutenant, the older man's voice hardened. You need to understand something. Colonel Lawson has 30 years of service, 3 combat deployments, 2 Bronze Stars. He's trained over 500 K-9 teams. He's saved countless lives. And you, he gestured dismissively. You're a kid with a degree and an attitude problem. Who do you think command is going to believe? The evidence. Evidence can be contested, interpreted, explained away. What matters is credibility. And right now yours is shot. Maya stood. Then I guess we're done here. Sit down. No. She walked to the door. You want to court-martial me? Go ahead. I'll testify. Under oath. On camera. And I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what the Navy tried to cover up. How many people will believe you then? She left before they could respond. In the hallway, her phone buzzed. Ward. They're coming after the witnesses, he said without preamble. Nina's security clearance was suspended. Martinez is under investigation for insubordination. Davies received transfer orders to Alaska effective immediately. They're dismantling everyone who spoke up. Can they do that? They're doing it. Right now. And there's more. The dogs, they're being transferred to another facility. Tomorrow morning. Lawson's former executive officer is taking custody. Claims it's for their safety during the investigation. Maya felt her stomach drop. That's not safety. That's elimination. They'll euthanize them. Destroy the evidence. I know, but I don't know how to stop it. We'd need a court order, and every military judge in the district has ties to, I'll stop it. Maya was already moving toward the parking lot. Where are you? Still at the base. They won't let me leave. Security says I'm a person of interest in an ongoing investigation. They're holding you. Not officially, but there are 2 MPs outside my hotel room. For my protection, they say. That's illegal detention. Tell that to their commanders. Ward's voice was strained. Maya, they're going to bury this. All of it. They have the power, the resources, and the motivation. We're just 2 people against an entire system. Then we get more people. How? Maya reached her car, started the engine. I'm going to make them listen. All of them. The press, Congress, the public. Everyone who thinks the military can do no wrong is about to learn what happens when good people stay silent. She hung up. Dialed another number. General Hadley's office. This is Lieutenant Cross. I need to speak with the general immediately. The general is unavailable. Tell him it's urgent. Tell him if he doesn't take this call, I'm contacting Senator Morrison directly and informing her that the Navy is attempting to obstruct a federal investigation." 10 seconds of silence. Then Hadley's voice, tired, disappointed. "Lieutenant, I've been hearing some concerning things about your conduct. Sir, with respect, you authorized my investigation. You gave me unrestricted access. You backed my authority. And now the IG is trying to force me to recant everything I found. The IG has concerns about your methods. My methods exposed systematic abuse and criminal conduct. Your methods included breaking into a superior officer's office and assaulting him. I defended Dr. Ward from assault. Everything I did was legal and justified. Sir, you know this. You've read the reports. You've seen the evidence." Hadley sighed. "I've seen the evidence. I've also seen the political fallout. Colonel Lawson has friends, Maya. Powerful friends. Senators. Defense contractors. Media personalities. They're pushing back hard. And they're demanding consequences. So you're abandoning me. I'm trying to save your career. I don't want my career saved if it means throwing those dogs to the wolves. This isn't about the dogs anymore. This is about institutional reputation, public trust, national security implications. You opened a can of worms that goes deeper than one training facility. Lawson's methods, they're not unique. They're replicated across dozens of programs, hundreds of handlers trained under his supervision. If we admit he was wrong, if we prosecute him, we're admitting the entire system failed. And that has consequences far beyond your investigation." Maya felt something break inside her. So, we just, what? Pretend it didn't happen. Let him walk. Let the dogs die. Let the handlers who spoke up get punished for telling the truth. I'm saying pick your battles. You expose the problem. That's a victory. Now let the system correct itself. The system doesn't correct itself. The system protects itself. Sometimes they're the same thing. Not this time. Maya's voice was steel. Sir, I have evidence that proves criminal conduct. I have witness testimony. I have documentation. If the Navy won't prosecute, I'll take it to civilian authorities. FBI, Justice Department, whoever will listen. That would be career suicide. Good thing I've already accepted that. She ended the call. Her hands were shaking. She gripped the steering wheel until her knuckles went white. Everything she'd worked for 4 years at the Naval Academy, 3 years as an officer, her entire professional identity was crumbling. And the worst part, she didn't regret it. Not for a second. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Lieutenant Cross. A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. This is Amy Chen, Washington Post. I'm covering your story. I'd like to ask you some questions. How did you get this number? I'm a reporter. It's what I do. Listen, I've been following military K-9 programs for 2 years. I've heard rumors about Lawson's facility, but no one would go on record. Everyone was too scared. And then you... A pause. You blew the lid off. You gave me documentation, video evidence, witness statements. This is the story I've been waiting for, but I need more. More what? Context. Your side. Why you did this, knowing it would end your career. That's the human angle. That's what makes people care. Maya closed her eyes. I did it because someone had to. That's a start. But I need details. I need you to walk me through everything. The test in the training yard, finding the evidence, confronting Lawson, the decision to go public, all of it. And if I do, if I give you the full story, what happens? It runs. Front page, Sunday edition. 20 million readers. And then, Chen's voice softened. Then people start asking questions, congressional hearings, federal investigations, the kind that can't be buried or ignored, but only if you trust me, only if you're willing to speak. Maya thought about Nina, Martinez, Davies, Rex, all the handlers and dogs who'd suffered in silence because the system protected power instead of truth. I'll talk, she said. But not just me. I want Nina Alvarez on record. Dr. Ethan Ward, Private Martinez, everyone who risked everything. Their stories matter more than mine. Deal. I'm in Virginia now. Where can we meet? Maya gave her the address of a diner 20 minutes from base. Neutral ground. Public. Safe. She arrived first. Ordered coffee. Waited. Chen showed up 10 minutes later. Mid-30s. Sharp eyes. Recorder in hand. Thank you for meeting me. Chen sat down, pulled out notes. Before we start, I need to be clear. Once this story runs, there's no going back. The Navy will come after you harder. Your life becomes public. Every mistake, every bad decision, every vulnerable moment, it all gets scrutinized. Are you ready for that? No. Maya met her eyes. But I'm doing it anyway. Why? Because those dogs can't speak for themselves, and the people who tried to speak for them got silenced. Someone has to break that cycle, even if it costs everything. Chen started recording. Tell me about the first time you saw Rex. Maya talked for 3 hours. She told Chen everything. The training yard test, the hidden storage room, the prong collars, the medical records, the financial documents, the confrontation in Lawson's office, the decision to go public. Chen listened, asked questions, took notes. When Maya finished, Chen turned off the recorder. This is explosive, she said quietly. This isn't just about one corrupt officer. This is about systemic failure, institutional cover-ups, the cost of prioritizing metrics over morality. People are going to lose their jobs over this. Careers will end. Reputations will be destroyed. Good. You understand you'll be vilified, called a traitor, a liar, someone who couldn't hack it and lashed out. They'll dig into your past, find anything they can use against you. I know. Chen studied her. You're 22 years old. Most people your age are worried about student loans and dating. You're taking on the entire military establishment. That takes either incredible courage or incredible stupidity. Probably both. Chen smiled slightly. I like you, Lieutenant. Against my better judgment, I like you. She packed up her recorder. The story runs Sunday. After that, all hell breaks loose. My advice, get a lawyer, a good one, and prepare for war. I've been at war since I walked into that facility. Fair enough. Chen stood, extended her hand. For what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing, and I'm going to make sure people know it. They shook hands. Maya drove back to base. Her barracks room felt empty, cold. She sat on the bed and stared at her phone. A text from Nina. They transferred me. Alaska. Effective immediately. I fly out tomorrow. I'm sorry I couldn't do more. Another text from Martinez. Under investigation. Can't talk to anyone. Please tell me this was worth it. A third text from Ward. They're moving the dogs tonight. Not tomorrow. Tonight. I tried to stop it, but... Maya was out the door before she finished reading. The kennel was guarded. 2 MPs at the entrance. A truck idling in the loading bay. I need to see the dogs, Maya said. No access, Lieutenant. Facilities locked down pending transfer. I'm the investigating officer. I have authority. Your authority was revoked 3 hours ago. Direct order from command. You're not to enter this building or interact with any animals under investigation. They're not under investigation. They're evidence, and someone's trying to destroy them. Step back, ma'am. Maya saw handlers loading cages into the truck. Rex was one of them. He saw her. Started barking. Desperate. Terrified. Rex. She tried to push past the MPs. One of them grabbed her arm. Ma'am, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Where are they taking them? That's classified. Classified. They're dogs, not nuclear codes. They're military assets, subject to operational security protocols. Now step back or you'll be arrested for interference. Maya watched helplessly as cage after cage was loaded. The Shepherd, the Malinois, the Rottweiler, all the dogs she'd fought to save. Rex's barking became howls. The truck door closed. The engine revved. And Maya knew Knew with absolute certainty that if those dogs left this base, she'd never see them alive again. She pulled out her phone, dialed the one person who might still have power to stop this. Chen, it's Maya Cross. You said the story runs Sunday. Can you run it tonight? Tonight. That's impossible. We need editorial review, fact-checking, legal clearance. If you wait until Sunday 17, dogs will be dead, and everyone responsible will have time to cover their tracks. But if you run it now, right now, while they're actively destroying evidence, that's the story. That's the proof that they're guilty. Silence. Then, send me video. Proof they're moving the dogs, and a statement explaining what's happening. I'll push it to digital immediately. 30 minutes. Can you do that? Yes. Maya started filming. The truck, the handlers, the cages, Rex's panicked barking. She narrated everything. Date, time, location, what was happening, and why. She sent it to Chen. 20 minutes later, her phone exploded with notifications. The story was live. Not just on the Post's website, everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok. The video of Rex being loaded into the truck went viral within minutes, and people were furious. The base commander's office received over 10,000 calls in the first hour. Congressional offices were flooded. Social media erupted. The truck stopped. MPs pulled the driver out, opened the back, started unloading the cages. Maya watched from across the lot, tears streaming down her face. Her phone rang. Cross. It was Captain Reynolds. You just caused a massive public relations nightmare. Good. The dogs are being returned to kennels, pending full investigation. No transfers, no euthanization. Nothing happens to them until this is resolved legally. Are you satisfied? No, I'm satisfied when Lawson's in prison and every dog goes to a safe home. That's not up to me. Then find someone it is up to. She hung up, walked to the kennel. The MPs didn't stop her this time. They looked exhausted, defeated. Inside, Rex was back in his cage. When he saw Maya, his tail wagged, just once. I got you, she whispered. I promise, I got you. Behind her footsteps, she turned. Colonel Lawson stood in the doorway, out of uniform, civilian clothes. But his eyes were the same. Hatred, pure and absolute. You destroyed my life, he said. You destroyed your own life. I just documented it. No. He stepped closer. You humiliated me, publicly. You turned me into a monster. You made me the enemy when all I did was my job. Your job was to train dogs, not torture them. You have no idea what it takes to create warriors, what sacrifices are necessary, what lines have to be crossed. I know those lines exist for a reason. Lawson's laugh was hollow. You're so young, so naive. You think exposing me changes anything. There are 50 facilities like this, hundreds of officers using the same methods. You think they're all going to change because one lieutenant got self-righteous. They'll wait 6 months, a year, until the media moves on, until people forget, and then everything goes back to normal. Because normal works. Normal wins wars. Not anymore. We'll see. He turned to leave. Stopped. One more thing. Martinez's daughter. You asked if I threatened her. I didn't. But I know where she goes to school. I know her teachers' names. I know her bus route. And if anything happens to me, if I go to prison, if my career ends, if my reputation is destroyed. He looked back. Accidents happen, especially to children whose parents make bad decisions. Maya's blood went cold. You're threatening a child. I'm stating facts. Actions have consequences. Your actions, your consequences. Remember that when you're trying to sleep at night. He walked out. Maya stood frozen, her hands shaking, her mind racing. She pulled out her phone, called Martinez. Get your daughter, she said. Right now. Don't go home. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Just take her and disappear. Lawson just... Her voice cracked. He just threatened her. On base. In front of witnesses. I'm filing a report, but you can't wait. You have to move now. Martinez's voice was terror. Oh God, I knew this would... Martinez, listen to me. You did the right thing. This isn't your fault, but you need to protect her. Can you do that? Yes. Yes, I'll get her now. He hung up. Maya's phone buzzed again. Chen. Your video has 50 million views. Congressional Armed Services Committee just announced emergency hearings. Senator Morrison is demanding answers. FBI is opening an investigation. Maya. Chen's voice was awed. You did it. You actually did it. You forced their hand. Maya looked at Rex, at the empty kennels, at the bloodstains still visible on the concrete. No, she said quietly. We're not done yet. We haven't won until Lawson's convicted. Until every dog is safe. Until every handler can speak up without fear. We're nowhere close to done. What's next? Maya took a breath, steadied herself. Next, she said. Next, we go to war. The war came faster than anyone expected. 48 hours after Maya's video went viral, federal agents arrived at Lawson's home. They found him packing. Passport, cash, burn phone. He wasn't planning to stay for trial. The arrest was televised. Lawson in handcuffs being walked to a federal vehicle while reporters shouted questions. His face was stone. But Maya saw it. The moment his eyes found the camera. The hatred. The promise of retaliation. He's going to fight this, Ward said. They were watching the news in her barracks. He has resources, lawyers, friends who owe him favors. Let him fight. Maya's voice was tired but steady. We have evidence. 17 federal charges. Witness testimony. He can't charm his way out of this. You'd be surprised what powerful people can charm their way out of. He was right to be worried. Within a week, Lawson's defense team filed motions to suppress evidence claiming illegal search and seizure. They argued Maya had exceeded her authority, that the recordings were inadmissible, that the entire investigation was tainted by personal vendetta. And some of it stuck. The judge ruled that portions of the evidence gathered from Lawson's office couldn't be used because Maya had violated proper chain of custody protocols. Not because she'd done anything illegal, but because she'd moved too fast, documented imperfectly, made small procedural errors that defense attorneys could exploit. They're dismantling the case piece by piece, Chen told Maya over coffee. Lawson's team is good, really good. They're not arguing he's innocent. They're arguing the evidence is flawed. And technically, she paused. They're not wrong. Maya stared at her cup. So what you're saying is he might walk. I'm saying he might not get the full sentence he deserves. Plea deal. Reduced charges. Maybe even just a discharge and pension loss instead of prison time. That's not justice. That's the system. Maya felt something break inside her. Everything she'd sacrificed. Everything she'd risked. And it still might not be enough. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Lieutenant Cross. A man's voice. Authoritative. Familiar. This is Senator Morrison. I wanted to speak with you before the hearing tomorrow. Maya straightened. Senator, I didn't expect... I've been following your case closely. Very closely. What you exposed at that facility, it's worse than anyone realized. And I want you to know that regardless of what happens with Lawson's trial, there are going to be systemic changes, new regulations, oversight committees, mandatory inspections, everything you fought for. With respect, Senator, regulations don't mean anything if no one enforces them. Which is why I'm asking you to testify before the Armed Services Committee. Tomorrow. Live. On camera. Tell Congress and the American people exactly what you found. Why it matters. What needs to change. Maya's heart raced. They'll crucify me. The Navy's already trying to discharge me. If I testify against them publicly, then you'll be speaking truth to power, which is exactly what this country needs. Morrison's voice softened. I know what I'm asking. I know the cost. But Lieutenant, you're the only one who can make them listen. The only one with the credibility, the evidence, and the courage to stand up and say this is wrong and it has to stop. Will you do it? Maya thought about Rex, Nina, Martinez, Davies, every handler who'd spoken up and paid the price. Yes, ma'am. I'll testify. Good. See you tomorrow. 9 a.m. Room 216. And Lieutenant, don't hold back. Tell them everything. The call ended. Ward looked at her. You know this ends your military career. I know. You'll be 23 years old, with a dishonorable discharge and no prospects. I know. So why do it? Maya met his eyes. Because if I don't, someone else will have to. And maybe they won't survive it. Maybe they'll break under the pressure. Maybe they'll stay silent like everyone before them. But I can do this. I can take the hit. So I will. Ward nodded slowly. Then I'm testifying with you. Whatever happens, we face it together. You don't have to. Yes, I do. You're not the only one who's tired of watching good people get crushed by broken systems. He smiled slightly. Besides, someone needs to provide the scientific evidence while you provide the moral outrage. Maya laughed despite everything. Fair enough. That night, she couldn't sleep. She went to the kennel. Rex was awake watching the door, like he'd been waiting for her. Hey, buddy? She sat outside his cage. Tomorrow's the big day. I'm going to tell everyone what happened here, what they did to you, what they did to all of you, and maybe... Her voice cracked. Maybe it'll matter. Maybe something will actually change. Rex pressed his nose against the cage bars. Maya reached through, let him sniff her hand. You deserve better than this, she whispered. You all do. And I'm going to fight until you get it. I promise. She stayed there until dawn, then showered, dressed in her service uniform, and drove to Washington. The hearing room was packed. Media, military brass, congressional staff. And in the front row, Colonel Lawson, out on bail, watching her with those cold, empty eyes. Senator Morrison called the session to order. Lieutenant Maya Cross, please approach and be sworn in. Maya walked to the witness table. Her hands were steady. Her voice was clear. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Morrison looked at her. Lieutenant Cross, you've submitted a written statement detailing your findings at Fort Marshall K-9 facility. For the record, can you summarize what you discovered during your investigation? Maya took a breath. I discovered systematic abuse of military working dogs, physical torture, chemical enhancement, psychological trauma, and a command structure that prioritized performance metrics over animal welfare and handler safety. 17 dogs died under Colonel Lawson's command in 18 months. That's triple the national average. And every death was documented as unavoidable accident when in reality. She looked directly at Lawson. They were murdered. Slowly, methodically, by a system designed to break them. The room erupted. Reporters typing furiously. Military officers shifting uncomfortably. Morrison banged her gavel. Order. Lieutenant, those are serious allegations. Can you provide evidence? Yes, ma'am. Maya pulled out the files Ward had copied. Medical records, financial transactions, photographs. These documents show prohibited training equipment, illegal pharmaceutical purchases, injury patterns consistent with abuse, and witness testimony from 15 handlers who confirm that Colonel Lawson created a culture of fear where questioning orders meant retaliation, where reporting abuse meant career destruction, where staying silent was the only way to survive. A congressman interrupted. Lieutenant, you broke into Colonel Lawson's office to obtain those documents. Doesn't that make them inadmissible? I had authorization from General Hadley for unrestricted facility access. I used that authorization to investigate suspected criminal activity. Everything I did was legal under military code. But you assaulted a superior officer. I defended Dr. Ward from assault. Colonel Lawson attacked him first. It's documented on video. Another congressman. Even so, your conduct has been called into question. You've been accused of insubordination, emotional instability, and personal vendetta against Colonel Lawson. How do you respond? Maya felt rage building, but kept her voice level. I respond by saying that every time a woman challenges authority, she's called emotional. Every time someone speaks truth to power, they're called insubordinate. Every time evidence threatens the status quo, it's dismissed as personal vendetta. But the facts don't lie. Those dogs were tortured. Those handlers were threatened. And Colonel Lawson built a career on breaking the rules and destroying anyone who noticed. Morrison leaned forward. What do you want to come from this hearing, Lieutenant? I want accountability. I want Colonel Lawson prosecuted to the fullest extent. I want every facility using similar methods investigated. I want mandatory oversight and enforcement. And I want... She paused. I want those dogs to have a future that doesn't involve pain. They serve their country. They deserve to be treated with dignity. Even if it costs you your career. My career doesn't matter. Their lives do. The room went silent. Then Lawson stood. May I respond, Senator? Morrison nodded. Colonel Lawson, you have the floor. Lawson walked to the microphone. He looked smaller now, older, but his voice still carried authority. I've served this country for 30 years, 3 deployments, 2 Bronze Stars, 500 K-9 teams trained, countless lives saved. And yes, I made hard choices. Choices that soft people like Lieutenant Cross can't understand. But every choice I made was to create the most effective, most lethal, most successful K-9 program in military history. My dogs didn't fail. My handlers didn't break. My program worked. At what cost? Maya's voice cut through his speech. How many dogs died? How many handlers quit? How many lives did you destroy to maintain your perfect record? That's not. How many, Colonel? She stood. Tell these people how many animals you tortured because you were too arrogant to admit your methods were wrong. Tell them about Reed, who suffered brain damage after questioning you. Tell them about Martinez's daughter, who you threatened yesterday on base. Tell them, that's a lie. Lawson's composure cracked. I never threatened anyone's child. You told me accidents happen, especially to children whose parents make bad decisions. You said you know her school, her bus route, her teachers' names. That's a threat, Colonel, and it's documented because I recorded it. Morrison's eyes widened. You have a recording? Maya pulled out her phone, played the audio. Lawson's voice clear and unmistakable, threatening Martinez's daughter. The room exploded. Lawson went white. That's out of context. You were threatening a child to silence a witness. Morrison's voice was ice. Sergeant at Arms, please escort Colonel Lawson from this hearing room. And someone contact the FBI. We have new charges to file. Federal agents moved in. Lawson tried to protest, but they weren't listening anymore. He was led out in handcuffs for the second time in a week. And this time Maya knew he wasn't getting out. Morrison looked at her. Lieutenant Cross, thank you for your courage. Your testimony today will result in immediate policy changes across all military K-9 programs. New oversight, independent inspections, whistleblower protections, everything you fought for. What about the dogs? The dogs at Fort Marshall will be transferred to a rehabilitation facility, evaluated, and if possible rehomed with handlers who will treat them properly, including, she checked her notes, Rex, who, according to your report, has formed a strong bond with you. Maya's heart stopped. Ma'am, I don't... You've been recommended for commendation, Lieutenant, not discharge. General Hadley submitted paperwork this morning citing your exceptional conduct, dedication to duty, and courage under pressure. You're being promoted to captain and reassigned to head a new K-9 welfare oversight program. If you accept. Maya couldn't breathe. Yes, ma'am, I accept. Morrison smiled. Then this hearing is adjourned. Captain Cross, go take care of your dog. 10. 3 months later, Maya stood in a field behind the new rehabilitation facility. Rex was off-leash, running through grass for the first time in years. No collar, no chains, just freedom. Ward walked up beside her. He looks happy. He looks alive. Maya watched Rex chase a butterfly. For the first time since I met him, He looks like what he's supposed to be, not a weapon, just a dog. 15 of the 17 dogs are in rehabilitation now. 2 didn't make it. Too much trauma. Too much damage. Ward's voice was heavy, but the rest they're responding. Slowly. They might never be fully healed, but they're going to survive. What about the handlers? Nina's back from Alaska. She's running handler retraining programs now, teaching proper protocols, building trust-based relationships. Martinez is working with her. Davies, too. Everyone who spoke up got cleared and reinstated. Some even got promoted. And Lawson? Trial starts next month. 23 federal charges: assault, animal cruelty, witness intimidation, fraud, obstruction. His lawyers are trying to plead down to 5 years. Prosecution's pushing for 20. I hope they get 30. Me too. Ward paused. You did it, Maya. You actually changed the system. We did it. She looked at him. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Without Nina. Without everyone who found the courage to speak up when it mattered most. Rex ran back to them, dropped a stick at Maya's feet, wagged his tail. She picked it up, threw it, watched him chase it with pure joy. You know what the best part is? She said. A year ago someone told me I didn't belong in K-9 programs. That I was too young, too inexperienced, too female to understand what it takes. And now? She smiled. Now I'm in charge of making sure no one else gets told they don't belong. That every animal is treated with respect. That every handler can speak up without fear. How does it feel? Terrifying. Maya laughed. I'm 23 years old running a national oversight program. I have no idea what I'm doing most days. You'll figure it out. You always do. Rex came back with the stick. This time, he didn't drop it. He held it in his mouth and looked at Maya like he was waiting for permission. It's okay, she said softly. You can keep it. It's yours. Rex lay down at her feet, still holding the stick, just being close. And Maya realized something. This was what winning looked like. Not medals or promotions or congressional commendations. This. A dog who'd been broken learning how to trust again. A system that had failed learning how to heal. People who'd been silenced finding their voices. Her phone buzzed. Text from Chen. Lawson pleaded guilty. 20 years. No parole. Thought you'd want to know. Maya showed Ward. He exhaled slowly. It's over, he said. No. Maya looked at Rex. At the field. At the facility behind them where 15 other dogs were learning to be alive again. It's not over. It's just beginning. Because now we have to make sure this never happens again. At any facility. Under any commander. We have to build something better than what came before. Something worth fighting for. Think we can do it? Maya smiled. I think we already are. Rex's tail wagged. And for the first time in months, Maya felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. Not the naive kind that ignores reality, but the hard-earned kind that comes from facing darkness and choosing to light a candle anyway. The kind that knows change is slow and systems resist and power protects itself, but believes that truth matters more than comfort, that courage matters more than safety, and that sometimes one person standing up is all it takes to start a revolution. She'd walked into Fort Marshall as a lieutenant. No one believed in testing dogs in a system designed to break her. She'd walked out as a captain who'd exposed corruption, saved 17 lives, and changed military policy forever. But more than that, she'd proven something everyone said was impossible. That one voice could challenge power and win. That speaking truth could survive institutional pressure. That doing the right thing even when it cost everything was always worth it. Because those dogs were alive. Those handlers were safe. And somewhere someone else who'd been too scared to speak up was watching and thinking maybe, just maybe, they could be brave too. Maya threw the stick one more time. Rex chased it like his life depended on it. Like he'd been waiting his whole life for permission to run free. And as Maya watched him disappear into the grass tail, wagging joy radiating from every movement, she knew with absolute certainty that every sacrifice, every risk, every moment of fear had been worth it for giving something that had been broken the chance to be whole again. That was justice. That was victory. That was everything.